All right. Obi-Wan Kenobi, spoiler time. I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have watched it twice now. I fucking loved this episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was not ready for this show to go from such a bottomed out, like 2 of an episode to like a solid 8 to 9 banger. It is Star Wars TV, how it's been done at its best. I still think there's a lot of room for improvement for Disney Plus shows in general. Don't get me wrong. I really hate when people talk about like, hey man, it's a TV show. That's their budget. I'm like, yeah, but like so is Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones looked huge. Like the scale of Game of Thrones was always impressive. The thing about Kenobi is like, it just feels small. I don't know. It's weird. But other than that, I adored this episode. You know, they open up the episode of Kenobi with Anakin and Kenobi fighting or dueling, training, and I think pre-Attack of the Clones or Attack of the Clones, like he's still a Padawan. He still has like the whatever they call this thing, the braid, the weird braid that all the Jedi Padawans do. And they open it up with them fighting, and I've seen a lot of griping on the internet about how they didn't de-age Hayden Christensen or Ewan McGregor, and I got to be honest, I feel like they did de-age him. I think if you go back and watch it, they did. It's just they're old dudes. And I've just seen so much commotion about how they look too old for it. And it's like, obviously, bro, like what do we want as fans? Like, do we want to see the actual actors act even though they're older, or do we just not want to have the scenes? Because I much more prefer this than any of the deep faking of Luke that we've gotten. Truly. I don't care if they look a little bit too old for the parts, if they don't look like their old selves. I'd rather have this than the CGI because it feels more natural in a way. A couple of things that I really dug about this episode. I love that they framed the entire episode based on their training. And I feel like they kind of fixed the idea of Obi-Wan still being the master and Anakin is the Padawan. When Vader says that line, like, when we last met, you were the master and I was but the learner, but now I am the master, like all that. I feel like they've actually fixed it, which I didn't know how they were going to do it. I felt like that was one of the biggest things that like they're breaking down to Star Wars is like they're taking away cool lines from us like that. When this entire episode is basically showing us that Obi-Wan is still the master, like he still knows how to play Anakin, and Anakin still has so much to learn as Vader, to like capture people, and like he lets his emotions get the best of him, and they were using the duel that they were having throughout the entire episode to really frame that idea that Obi-Wan still can teach him something and outclassed him, and he was still the master in that scenario. He got everyone out of there safe, and Anakin like came up with like nothing. He's like, oh, I fucked up, I lost him. Like it was just, I love that framing of that idea. And it going into A New Hope actually works for me like that. I loved how they brought back the Grand Inquisitor. That dude is so fucking sassy. I can't get enough of him. He's one of the best villains I've seen put on TV. I know he doesn't look like the Grand Inquisitor, how we all kind of wanted him to, but that actor is absolutely crushing that role. Love his line at the end. Oh my God, dude. The biggest highlight for me is I almost want a Darth Vader show after seeing this episode, because they finally get to show Darth Vader and like his full power of the Force. You know, a lot of the times they couldn't really fully realize the Force in the original trilogy. They just didn't have the technology. You know, the lightsaber fighting was kind of bad. They couldn't do like special effects or CGI like crazy with the Force. And so we never really got to see Darth Vader be how we think Darth Vader is in our minds during the prequels. The best thing we've gotten, 2 best pieces of cinema we've gotten, was Rogue One. The scene in Rogue One at the very end of it, where Vader just like goes nuts on all these people. And it was amazing to see that. And that was the most terrifying we've ever seen Darth Vader, but it's just like his lightsaber skills and like him going off on a bunch of soldiers, which was amazing. Him in Fallen Order, also equally amazing. What I absolutely loved about this episode is we got to see Vader in like his using the power of the Force at his peak. Like when he he stops the ship. Every time we've seen a ship stopped in, movies and TVs, it's like they've slowed it down, right? And they never really were able to, they were struggling with it. Even Yoda was struggling to raise the X-Wing. Fucking Darth Vader just full stops that ship like it wasn't even taking off, dude. He just like, boom, you're not going anywhere. You're coming back down. And then he starts ripping it apart. It was fucking amazing. That's some of the best Star Wars I've ever experienced. I was so completely hyped up about it, dude. It was like Starkiller vibes like you're talking about, Kyle. It was great, dude. I love how he's pulling that ship apart. And then his fight with Reva. Reva? I don't know why I can't say this right. I keep getting mixed up. Reva. The Kung Fu push. When he was just absolutely taking Reva to class. Like just taking her to school, bro. Like he wasn't even using his lightsaber. He was just like dodging stuff like he was some old dude from a Kung Fu movie, bro. Like, oh, you want to swing your sword? Wham! Wham! Just gonna dodge it. And then, yes, he does like the fucking Kung Fu push. He's just like, hoo, hoo, hoo. And like she goes, whoo, ah! Like, I love that shit, bro. Like, it was fucking nuts. That's some of the best Star Wars fighting we've ever seen. And then after he pushes her, then he continues to absolutely showcase how bad she is at compared to him. Like, he's just so, like, he's on such a different level of fighting, a different level of being a Force user than she could ever like be close to, or anybody. Like, because Grand Inquisitor would get fucked up like that, you know? Like, the only person who probably wouldn't would be like Palpatine right now. He took her apart in fighting. The way he used her sword against her, it was just fucking great, man. The sneak attack was so weak. That was, yes. And again, it's like that type of stuff takes a little bit away from it because it was weak. It was weird. Like, why wouldn't she attack while he was like trying to get the fucking thing? Like, could you imagine? Like, I'm glad this didn't happen because, yo, Kyle, thank you for the gifted sub over to Tiger Backwoods. I'm glad that we got to see him rip apart the ship, but I kind of wish he would have like gone to stop.
Kyle Crunk gifted a tier 1 sub to Tiger Backwoods.
Thank you,
They
sir.
have given 154 gift subs in the channel.
Thank you. Here's what I think would have been a better scene, just like on the fly writing, and I'm not a writer, is he rips apart the first ship. The second ship goes to take off and you're like, oh man, like they're getting away. Good job. And then like he stops that one. And that's like fucking nuts. And you're like, oh shit, everyone's on there. And then Reva sneak attacks. I think that would have been a better way for that to play out because the sneak attack, the way she did it was so obvious. And like, so like you're trying to kill Vader like this? Like this is how you're going up against the Sith Lord Darth Vader like that. Maybe we could have done this a little bit differently. But overall, the fight scene was amazing. Love that type of shit. And then we get to the end of it. And she gets stabbed in like the stomach, I guess, or wherever you get stabbed and live. So she gets stabbed. And the Grand Inquisitor comes out and he does his whole speech, which was amazing. Loved it. And then they just leave her there, right? And when she gets stabbed, this is something I was talking about with our boy Finto. I wasn't sure if Anakin had stabbed her in the past. Like there's a flashback to when she's a kid. And it shows Anakin during the Order 66. It shows her as a kid and her getting stabbed. But I'm not 100% convinced that that scene actually took place in real life. I read that as she was still a kid today. Like Reva in that moment when Vader is stabbing her, she is still that child and she's been stuck as that child her entire life because of what happened during Order 66. She never outgrew that. And in that moment, she's that little girl again. And Anakin Skywalker, now Lord Vader, but you know, not in his mask yet, is stabbing her. Like that's who she sees stabbing her, like PTSD type of stuff. That's how I read that. But other people are telling me that she got stabbed as a kid and they just left her there to die, but she didn't. And I'm like, I don't know, bro. That's kind of rough. Like, I don't know how in Star Wars you stab a kid and they live. You know, it's like there's only so much room there as a kid. So I totally read it as in her mind she was just that little kid. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I think Vader throwing him in the fire and Obi-Wan chilling like it didn't happen 10 minutes later was lame. Yes, I agree. They tried hard to have Vader get some sort of revenge. I definitely think Obi-Wan and Vader's first interaction could have been way better. I don't know how you write it, but it could have been a lot better. Definitely. See, I'm going with Ghosted. Like, she never grew up. I think that is where where it is. I think that's the way the scene was meant to be read, but you know, whatever. Been a lot of stuff like that when Obi-Wan gets out of water and he's completely dry. I know. Like when he swam underwater to the Fortress Inquisitorius and like he just gets out of the water, he's kind of dry. Like, all right, it's Star Wars, you know, there's weird, dumb scenes like that throughout the history of Star Wars. So I guess. Oh, but it was fun. They kind of took away from Vader, just did. I agree. I don't like this thing that Orin Tara slaps the stormtrooper in the head. Yeah, that's dumb too. And she did another thing like that in this episode. That whole deal is just weird. It's like there's so many great high moments, and then there's also moments that you're like, hey, did no one like take a second pass over this script? Like, does this script just say Tara slaps a stormtrooper? Like, did no one read that and be like, is there another way we can do the scene? Like, can we do something like, could she, I don't know, maybe take his blaster off him and shoot him? I don't know. Yes, there's only one more episode left, and apparently it's gonna be like an hour and a half is the runtime, allegedly. You guys don't know about fourth blow drying. How do female stormtroopers work? Aren't they supposed to be Order 66 clones? After the first 3 movies, the clone troopers start to get phased out, and they start recruiting actual citizens of the Empire to be stormtroopers. So initially the stormtroopers were clones, and then they got too old because their aging is rapid. They rapidly age because of the cloning technology that they imply, and it was too expensive for them to replace it. So they just started getting regular people to be stormtroopers. As long as they weren't forced in. No, they weren't forced in. So here's something that I'm not liking about Star Wars. I am not liking the idea that no one is ever really gone. We need to start having people die in Star Wars. And it's cool when it happened like with 1 or 2 people. Like when Darth Maul comes back, it's fucking kind of wild. I'm not like, I love it. I'm not gonna lie, fanboy for that stuff. But at a certain point, there's been so many people in Star Wars who supposedly were killed and like just kind of come back. They're just like, what? So like the Grand Inquisitor didn't die from his like getting stabbed here. Reva doesn't die from getting stabbed by a lightsaber. Like, is Qui-Gon Jinn the only dude in this universe who dies from a lightsaber stabbing? Is there no one else who dies from getting just impaled by a lightsaber? The thing that can cut through fucking doors, like blast doors. Like, how did Palpatine survive going down an electricity pit? Yes, one of those. People need to make sure that they finish the job. I know, dude. Like, say what you want about Darth Maul compared to Vader, but at least Darth Maul could fucking kill someone. Vader, on the other hand, I don't know what's going on with him. Like, Vader couldn't kill Reva. He couldn't kill Palpatine. Like, he's batting 0 for 100 right now, man. Like, he is not killing people. Wendy's has a strawberry frosty. Oh my god, hold up. I'm gonna end the stream right now. Yeah, the whole Palpatine thing was weird. There's so much to get into about those the sequel trilogy. It's not even like. Also, very scary about what they're doing with Star Wars canon at this moment. Qui-Gon Jinn is real pissed watching all these people survive and the tank's healing people. That's the real reason why he won't talk to Kenobi. He's just sour. He's like, really? Nobody told me this, huh? No one told me? You couldn't drag me to a Bacta tank, Obi-Wan? Oh man, that's so funny, bro. He's giving him the ghost shoulder. So yeah, the thing that's really scaring me now going into this final episode, for some reason, Bail Organa decided to send Obi-Wan a message, and Obi-Wan gave it to the Eternals guy. He dropped it, and now Riva has it. And this message is like, "Hey, Obi-Wan Kenobi, this is Bail Organa. Do you know the boy that's supposed to be hidden? The hidden children that, yeah, I haven't heard from you, so I'm going to go to the boy who's on Tatooine. Yeah, the hidden boy who's on Tatooine, Obi-Wan. I'm going to go search for him." So, I don't know what the fuck is going to go on there. Like, they knocked out the hyperdrive on the ship Obi-Wan's on, so he's going to be behind people. So is Riva going to go and like be talking to Luke or something? Like, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. It's so scary what they're doing with that storyline because of how they ended this episode. I'm so nervous. That's not even funny. Like, I am so fucking nervous what's going to come out of that plot point going forward. But I guess we'll find out Wednesday. It's an 1.5 hour episode. A lot could happen. There's a lot of time for them to fuck up the Star Wars we love. There's a lot of time for them to, like, you know, make the Star Wars we love even better in like the Rogue One fashion. These Star Wars shows can't get enough of Tatooine. Yeah. This last episode is going to make or break the show for me. I agree. Because overall, I have not liked the show. I feel like it barely justifies itself, and it only justifies itself because of this last episode now, that episode 5. Before this, I was like, why do we even make the show? Like, it's been 4 episodes. And here's the thing. If this was a movie, it would be different because the framing of a movie can be completely different than a TV show. A movie can do 2.5 hours of Obi-Wan chasing after Leia. For a TV show to have 4 episodes of the main character chasing Leia, a side character, it feels like too much. It feels like too much. It feels like it's been the same story the entire time. No? So, we'll see. Episode 5 was Empire because the heroes had to leave defeated. Oh man, you're right, bro. Yeah, Xavier brought this up on the podcast, the Marvelous Chats podcast that we do on YouTube. Yeah. Totally agree. I'm not really a big fan of all the shows. The shows feel small, and I think it's because of the volume technology. I think that the volume technology is an amazing piece of technology that's been developed. I think that they've used it in very clever ways. I also think that it's limited them, and they've used it as a crutch to the point that it makes it feel small. It feels unnatural at times. It doesn't feel right. I think one of the reasons that Andor looks like it's so good and feels so good is because they're not overusing the volume technology. I could be wrong, but the trailer looks big and expansive. Like, it looks big. And there's something about these shows that keep using the volume, which is that like TV, the whole, 360 TV set or whatever they do, that makes it feel small, man. It makes it feel claustrophobic. When Riva and all the stormtroopers were like crowding around the front gate of this place that all the Rebel Alliance people were hiding in, it felt small. It felt tiny. It felt like a miniature version of The Last Jedi, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on there, but Game of Thrones found a way to make their TV show look huge and look bigger than life and have huge castles. And then we get to this stuff and the Star Wars TV shows just feel tiny. And not only that, but like, what the fuck is going on with the aliens? I remember watching Star Wars and it was like, there was like an alien for every 3 humans or something. It was ridiculous. Like, it felt amazing to watch Star Wars and feel like you really were in another galaxy because there's aliens everywhere, dude. And now you get like 1 alien for every like 20 humans or something. It looks weird. Like, it just looks weird. It doesn't feel like it. Were the aliens gone? Yes, my man, bro. Like, where are the aliens, dude? Like, you don't even get, like, in the 70s, they made it feel like that. Like, I really believe that these are just a bunch of extras who are like the friends and families of all the people who work on the show. And they're like, yeah, we'll get you in there. Yeah, you're going to have your face in a Star Wars movie, man. Or TV show. That's why they'll make all these aliens. But like, it just doesn't feel like Star Wars without like tons of